All right, welcome back to the latest installment of Pure Perspectives. Gary Pierce here with Pure Funding, and I've got a new character to unlock. I got Paul Rogers from Herdyard, and you're probably wondering what in the heck are we doing talking to Herdyard? It has nothing to do with mortgages. Well, it pretty much doesn't. It's got to do with cattle, and that's the exciting thing. So we don't have to talk about mortgages today. So, Paul, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and Herdyard?
Yeah, so we started Herdyard because we saw a huge need in the market that where people couldn't find cattle. To be honest, I'm not a cattle guy. I'm a tech
Yeah,
guy, and my wife and I moved to a rural area. And one of the conversations I recently had with, or well, a little over a year ago, had with a farmer as I was kind of looking into a different business to start, and we were looking for a house at the time, and this guy said,
right.
I'm having trouble finding cattle, and I'm driving around, I'm talking to farmers. And I said, what do you mean you're driving around talking to me? He's like, yeah, I drive around, I look at their field, I look at their cows, and then I drive to their house. And I said, and they don't care? And he's like, no, but I hate it. So he is a real estate guy, and like I said, we were looking for a house at the time, and I said to him, I said, what if we just started like the Zillow of cattle to make it way easier to find,
Yeah, yeah.
cattle? And he was like, that's a really good idea. So I started hunting around, finally found another co-owner, Robbie DeVries. He's a senior level developer, and we
Okay.
went to Herdyard and we built it to be exactly like Zillow, but for cattle. And so that's
That's
exactly what it
awesome.
is.
Well, our mortgage base and realtors will definitely understand the correlation to that, right? They
Yeah, that's
they
awesome.
spend a lot of time out there on the Zillows and realtor.coms. That's awesome. What so I guess like what do you think as far as like what have you figured out from a marketing standpoint for these producers to move their cattle? Like what's the inefficiencies that you guys have figured out?
Yeah. So in tech, we've always said that your network is your net worth. And you could have the best bull, the best herd, the best breed
Hmm.
in the world. If no
Yeah.
one can find you, no
Yeah.
one can buy it. And so,
Right.
in order to do that, though, just because you know somebody doesn't mean they need cattle. You need a large network of people with any type of company, but especially in the cattle
Right.
industry. And so, in the past, it's always been word of mouth, right? We always hear that's the way my dad did it. That's the way my grandpa did it. That's we're going to
Yeah.
keep doing it that way. That's like the number one phrase in the cattle industry. But times are changing, and the generations are getting younger because the older generations are selling off. You guys are probably seeing
Yeah.
it big time.
Yeah, I mean, I think how we got connected probably 6 months ago is through the cattle business, and at the time we didn't really have a need for it, but as of a couple of weeks ago when we talked, our business has changed from a cattle perspective, and so I'm like, we gotta change this up, but I love the technology aspect of it and solving the problems through technology.
Yeah. So one of the problem we were finding is that most people sell on on Facebook, right? But Facebook
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
buried in feeds. Your network isn't necessarily cattle people. It's a ton of tire kicker, a ton of spam. So we
right.
thought, man, how could we change the game? So we started Herdyard, and when we started, we actually launched it for free. We started
Okay.
getting a bunch of spam in. We found out another platform. I won't mention their name, but they actually shut down because there was too much spam. They ran some not really similar, but they tried, and it had to shut down because there was so much spam. So we started charging, and we said, let's create a barrier to entry. And now we have really good qualified sellers and qualified buyers on the platform.
Got it.
And one of the biggest pushbacks we get all the time is, well, should I join now because the platform's kind of small? When we're spending a ton of money on marketing, no
Yeah.
one's coming to Herdyard to see our logo. They're coming
Right.
to Herdyard to see our producers. So I
Right.
think at any social network, we're not necessarily a social network, but we're close. Any social network that you join early, you're going to
Hmm.
grow your network by default.
Sure.
So I think
Yeah.
it's a great time to join.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. So elaborate on the social aspect because that's intriguing, right? Like you're not just like I think that's the difference between like the Zillow piece of it is the listings, right?
Yeah.
Hey, come and look at this bull, come and look at this herd, whatever. But I think that's one of the interesting pieces that I took from our conversation about a week ago is that networking part that I don't think you can. It's hard to replicate that, and it's hard to grow it fast.
It's super hard. When you
Yeah,
start any network, you have to have the sellers and the buyers. You don't know where to
sure.
start. We started with one producer. We were ecstatic. Our first guy out of Denver just
Right.
over a year ago. And we were like, oh my goodness, someone used it. We couldn't believe it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, absolutely. So what we're trying to grow is we're trying to strip everything we don't need. We want to be a simple platform that people can use easily. We want people to be able to list quickly. We want them to be able to found quickly. But so how Herdyard works is it's very similar to Zillow. Every dot is a cow. We also have
Yep.
another map where every dot is a producer. You also get your own producer profile, which is like a website within the system where people can
Okay.
start following you. So all of your followers, they're following you for a reason. So when you list the type of cattle that you list, it means, and your followers are, it means they're probably looking for what you're listing.
Yeah.
We're hoping to get sales like faster and faster the faster you grow your network. But what we're
Yep.
also doing within this social network, which I think is going to be really epic, is we're going to start providing services around the cattle industry that naturally that advertise themselves when you need them. So for instance, if I was 50 miles from you and I were to buy your cattle, it would know where you are, it would know where I'm looking from, and it would automatically recommend someone to haul that cattle from your place to mine. And so you could pay for everything with one click, right? So I could buy cattle through e-commerce possibly at some point, and I can ship it all in one click, which is going to be really epic. So but we're also going to do other services like veterinary services and whatever services surround the cattle industry. So it'll be ads, but not in your face like on banners and around the website. It'll be only an ad when you need it.
Got it. Interesting. That's I love the full kind of spectrum. You know, I was looking at the other day when just a lot of the kind of the seed stock guys and selling straws and that sort of thing. And like, it just, that thing comes to mind. It's like, what if you don't have a good AI person, or you're not the guy for AI, you know, and if you've got a, you know, a resource list of folks in, you know, whatever the region is, like, yeah, it just takes, especially when you look at, you know, I don't know, like, we're not full time, right? And so anything we can do to be efficient that doesn't look like me always having it or my partner having to do it. It's like, you know, I think, you know, those kind of resources at your fingertips are super important.
Yeah. You know, go ahead.
Yeah, go. Sure.
I was going to say, we asked a bunch of producers this morning. We said, what's the one thing you would need to do, like fill in the blank, to 10x my company or my production or whatever, 10x anything. And this guy's put in efficiency. And I said, what do you mean by efficiency? But I do think with any business, I don't care if it's cattle or what you're doing, if you don't have efficiencies, then it is really hard to scale. And so I think that's one thing we really want to focus on is efficiencies. And I think better than a list of services, like I just said, it's going to be the service you need right now, that you don't have to go look for or get approved. You'll know this guy's approved. He's ready to go. I'm ready to buy, and everything get done immediately.
Yeah. What do you see? Like, what have you seen? Like the biggest mistakes some of these producers are making from a marketing standpoint that they're missing opportunity on?
I think we see, which I think is kind of crazy. You see guys spending millions of dollars on their production, right? On their breeding, on whatever they're doing. And then they go to Facebook for free and they get buried in feeds and they're answering tire kickers all day long. So one lady, she said, we were on the phone with her and she said, I get 200, you know, comments on my Facebook post when I list cattle. And I said, yeah, but out of those 200, how many buy? No. And I said,
they just want to see the pictures.
I said, so would you rather get 200 phone calls and answer 200 Facebook, you know, price, location. That's all you really see on Facebook.
Yeah.
Or would you rather get one serious buyer who's going to buy right now? Because one, it's a ton of time, and you're selling to someone that actually has money and actually wants to buy your cattle right now.
So let's shift gears to that buy side, like on the network of that. What do your typical buyer look like on the platform?
Buyers have been, I think, the most difficult to get onto the platform, right? But I think because for a time, there was really nothing to buy.
Yeah.
Like when we were first launching, we had to have sellers, and then and the buyers kind of come and then they leave and they come and they leave.
Yeah.
Right now we have about 700 buyers on the platform looking every day.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool. We're growing that. So right now, most of our listings are seed stock, which I think is fantastic. But our commercial side is really where I think it's going to be most beneficial to high volume sellers. And so we're really focusing on a lot of these meat plants and their buyers, getting them into the platform. And so those guys are actually on LinkedIn. So we've been reaching out to them, telling them about the platform. They can join for free. It doesn't cost them anything. And they don't have to pay, you know, no one has to pay commissions on either side, right? So they can look for free. They can contact you directly and they can buy whatever you have to offer. And so you can, you know, I don't know if I, you know, totally let the cat out of the bag here, but I think that if you're going to hire a broker and he's going to upcharge $100 a head, you might as well list $100 a head higher. And
that's the guy that's not using a broker, private sale
Yeah.
situation. Got it.
And I'm not
Yeah.
against brokers either. I mean, brokers are more than welcome to use our platform as well. So they
Yeah.
can list cattle coast to coast, California, New York, and for their clients that
They got money, right?
we love it. Yeah, we want them on the platform. We want them making money. They're not going to owe us a dime. They could sell 30 million, $100 million worth of cattle. They're not
Yeah.
going to pay us a dime more. It's a pretty cool operation.
Got it. So talk a little bit about, like the no commission thing is interesting. Like I was having a conversation with the guy the other day and like, excuse my language, but he's like, how the hell do they make money? And I'm like, well, it's, they're looking at it differently. They're looking at it from an, ad subscription based. And so I'll let you dig into that more, but yeah, like the old school kind of cattle guys, like, what's the commission,
Yeah, it's that's one of our biggest pushbacks. It's actually pretty funny. I laugh after I hang up because that's like a lot of people are like, I just don't get it. I don't that doesn't make sense to me. And they think they're gonna like somehow get screwed on some end of this. Like,
Yeah.
And so, but our goal is volume, right? It goes back to
Sure.
what I said in the beginning. It's your network is your net worth. So there's 600,000 producers in the United States, according to ChatGPT. So, some of those are really big. Some of those are really tiny, especially east of the Mississippi. You're going to get tons of tiny farms. So we're after the volume of people, right?
Sure.
I always tell people, I don't have to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning and go feed your cattle, right? There's no reason I should take that profit from you by nickel and diming every single thing you do on my platform so I can get more money out of you as a producer. We feel like, and the reason we started Herd Yards for two reasons. One, to have healthier animals sold off the farm. We feel like if you don't have to bring them to the sale barn, I'm not against sale barns. I think they have their place. But if you don't have to bring them there, you can actually sell healthier, fatter, heavier cattle that aren't getting shrink at the barn and all these other stuff. And so then the other reason was so that you could keep your profits and put it back into your operation, and we could increase, I think, the success of the American farm, right? Because a lot of people are getting out of it, and we look at a lot of other selling platforms, not to trash them, I'm sure they're great, but at every corner it's like you owe $100 a month for this, but then you have to be in this, and then you have to owe it, and if you want to be on the front page, you got to pay this. So I think people are just sick of being nickel and dimed for everything.
That's everywhere, right? Like not just the cattle business. Yeah, I get it. So what's, if you're a year into this thing now, and what's the most surprising aspect of this business and especially coming from outside of the cattle world, like what's been the kind of light bulb moment or whatever, surprising moment for you?
I think the need, and then on the good side, I literally is probably the most surprising how nice producers are. Like I almost feel bad sometimes because I come from like a tech industry where you call someone and they're kind of a jerk or they're just kind of like whatever.
Right.
These cattle guys are like way too nice. Like I literally sit on the phone with them for hours and they share information, and that's how I learned about the cattle industry over that last year and a half. Is these guys pour into you for nothing, and it blows me away. Like literally blows me away. I think the other surprising thing is that all these guys are still marketing. I think really what blows my mind is they spend so much money on their program and everything that they do, and their life is wrapped up in this
all day.
But then they go put it on a platform. They go sell their cattle on a platform that's junk. And so I think we really want to answer that. We want to say our goal was, let's not charge them as much as we possibly could. Let's lower the price and allow them to list unlimited amount and make a ton more money, reaching real buyers and getting the services they need right away.
Yeah.
I mean, that I think it's surprising that no one has done this, honestly. I couldn't believe it. Like when we first looked into the whole problem, there was no solutions that weren't 20 years old.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I think it's evolving though. The podcasts that are out there, and you hear the technologies that folks are using now within their herd, the tracking devices, whether it's GPS, tracking, if a cow is coming into heat, like there's so much data now that like a lot of these big, kind of purebred operations are running. I mean, it is a full on science, and it is heavy data, a lot of spreadsheets. And it's interesting to see kind of how that's gone from, I always say it, hey, I count my cows and then I sell them, right? Like and that business works, right? Like I'm not downplaying that one bit, but then you've got this other side of the data down to the ground, literally the dirt and what you put in it, what you're taking out of it. And it's really amazing where the cattle industry's come in the last 5 to 10 years, in my opinion. So let's talk a little bit. So like just dollars and cents, what does the average producer, what's it going to cost them to play?
So yeah, so we're $432 a month, which brings it to about $36 a month. Or I'm sorry, we're $432
For
a year.
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
averages out to $432. I'm sorry, $36 a month. Man, I said it all wrong. Okay.
Yep.
So
I'm following you.
But if we're starting to partner with associations across the United States. So right now we have 4 associations that have partnered with us. American Hereford, which we're really excited about.
Heck yeah.
American Wagyu, Australian Wagyu, and Texas Wagyu. And we're working on a bunch of others. They're a little bit slow because we have to go through their boards. And so there's several others that are having those meetings this September. So if you're a part of an association that is partnered with us, then you get 10% off forever. So as long as you're a part of the association, it's $388.
Got it.
That brings it to about $32 a month, and we just charge it yearly.
Okay.
Because we feel like if you don't have to worry about it all year, you can just list unlimited. You can build your network. You don't have to think about these bills coming in all the time. And if it doesn't work for you, you can always cancel next year. So you're not locked into anything. So that's the cost, and really that's it. So the one other cost that is coming, though, we're really excited about. We had the request from a lot of seed stock Wagyu guys. They wanted to sell their semen and embryos through. So that will be live hopefully in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. So you can actually sell all your semen, all your embryos through Herdyard directly. And so how that works, and it will change our no commission model just slightly. If you decide to sell it on our platform and you get it and you want them to send you a check, it's still no commissions, right? That's totally fine. We're not going to limit you. If you want to use the e-commerce platform inside Herdyard, we have to charge you a e-commerce fee, right? That's not our fee. That's coming from our payment
processing. Yeah.
And then we will probably do like a 1.75% to us for that service, just because of the build and everything behind it. And we think it's an opportunity, right? We want to be good businessmen as well. We just don't want to nickel and diming. And then we're going to slowly open that up to first to seed stock, then to commercial, and we'll probably be nationally bonded. But we would like to be able to offer security for a little bit of a profit, but we want to come in way under what it would cost to go through another platform or to go through a broker or whatever.
So walk through that a little bit. Like you get a new seed stock guy and they do want to use the platform. Is it just as simple as signing up on the platform, hooking up your bank account, and the cash starts rolling in?
Yeah. So we run through Stripe. So we will require a Stripe an account. So you'll have to have a Stripe account. And how we're building it is it's actually a pass through. So it only the percentage that we take actually ever hits our bank account, and the rest goes straight into your Stripe.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So that money's there. So when you have a buyer, before you ship, that money's sitting in your account, which is pretty cool. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty amazing.
That's awesome. That's gonna be. When you talk about the efficiencies, like that's the kind of stuff that comes to mind, right? You don't have to worry about waiting on a check to come in the mail and that sort of thing. And that's awesome.
They're serious too, right? If the money's not there, they're not serious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so who cares?
Yeah. So I mean, you've talked about a lot of new stuff you guys are doing, but what's your like 5-year goal, or where do you see this marketing platform channel going over the next 5 years?
Yeah, I think our number one goal is not necessarily how do we grow Herdyard. Our number one goal is how do we make it more profitable for the producer, right? At every level, for every person. And so there's such a range of producers, like of things people do in this industry. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like when you're on the outside, you just think a cow's a cow and whatever. Like some guy raises it and brings it and butchers it. That's not the case at all. And so I think our focus is how can we make these producers more profitable with less headache, right?
Yep.
And if we can do that, I know the platform will grow. As much as we're focused on American beef, there's a massive market worldwide. And so we're already talking with the Australians and we'd love to move into New Zealand and England, but I think we want to prove it here. We get a lot of investment requests. And I
bet.
So a lot of people say, well, are you going to sell the company? Our goal is not to sell the company. We'd love to hang on to it. I think it's a great company, and the people in it that we have right now are fantastic. And so I think really our focus is just really going to be on the producer for the future. And we would love for the network to grow. I guess if I had one goal, I would love to see 100,000 producers on the platform, because I think the more we have on the platform, the faster you're going to be able to sell your cattle, and the faster you're going to be able to see profits, right?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Do you guys have any data right now for those producers that are considering this? Like, what's the average time? Obviously, they can go and load their cattle up and go to the sale barn, and they've got a week. So, but what would be? Do you guys have enough data at this point to say, hey, this is the kind of the average days on market,
Yeah.
so to speak.
I think it's like 30, but I'll say this. It really depends on what you're listing, right? So seed
Mhm.
stock, I think, is a little bit slower
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's a lot higher priced, right? You're talking about like $7,000, $10,000 bulls, $5,000 heifers, or actually more, $6,000, $7,000 heifers. So,
Yeah.
but if you're selling like calf cow pairs, those seem to move faster. We had
Okay.
an interesting story. We had a guy list. He had more, but he listed 300 open heifers. We had another guy that joined Herd Yard, and 3 days later he looked on Herd Yard, found those, called the guy, drove to New Mexico. When he got there was 1,000 open heifers. And the guy said, I'll take all 1,000. And he spent, it was a little, $1.5 million, something like that. And
Yeah.
he hauled them all back to his farm in Texas. And
That's awesome.
and he took us out to dinner. We went to Texas for the Big Texas show, or with Texas Wagyu. And he took us out to dinner. I never met this guy in my life. And he's like, Paul, we just bought $1.5 million worth of cattle off Herd Yard. We didn't pay any commissions. You guys are getting screwed. Like, what are you doing over there? Like, you guys could have made so much money on this. Bobby DeVries, the other owner, he's like, welcome to Herd Yard. So
yeah,
it really is cool. As far as how fast it's going to sell, I can't tell you that. But I know the faster we grow, the faster it's going to sell, right? So the faster you're going to be able to build that network. What we do know is Facebook's not the answer, right?
Yeah.
Getting primed is not the answer. So I think the faster we can all get on this platform and help each other out, I think the better off we're all going to be.
What's the biggest hurdle you're finding with producers that haven't worked or interacted online to sell, whether it's Facebook or whatever? So like, obviously this is a much more, as far as the platform's concerned, much more specific. I think, you get the Facebook groups, to your point, just get a lot of noise. Like, what are you telling these producers that haven't sold online?
Yeah. Well, we had a lady, she's a good friend of ours. She runs a Hereford operation. And she kind of just has always gone to the barn. It's just what she's always done. I called her. We were about to sign her up on Herd Yard. She was like hem-hawing, and she called me in tears. And she's like, I just took my cattle to the barn, and I got way less than I thought I was going to get. And I had to pay commissions, and I had to pay shipping, and all this stuff. And I said, Donna, you need to be on Herd Yard. Like this, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So she lost so much money in that sale. And so I think what we're finding is, yes, you can go to the barn, but if that one buyer that's going to buy high goes to the bathroom, you're going to lose, right?
And, timing's everything, right?
Yeah, and you're not going to haul that cattle back to your farm, so they could be in there. They could be in that place for 2 days and lose 50 pounds. And so when they go over that scale, you're going to lose at every level. And then if you're buying from the barn, you're going to buy sick animals. So I think what we'd like to do is open up the opportunity to the cattle community as a whole and say, stop losing money on your operation, right?
Sure.
Because you're desperate.
Yeah.
And give yourself a little bit of time, get them listed on Herd Yard, and wait. You're not going to get buried in a feed. Like with Facebook, you got to manage that thing like you're a social media manager. You got to post that same cattle every day on these groups.
So that's an interesting point too. So let's say you've got a producer, cow-calf guy, and he's got some kind of 3-4 weights. So he knows he's going to sell them, right? Like he's not going to back around. He's not going to keep back his heifers. He's moving them all, so you're 60, 90 days, depending on how fast they're gaining and all that stuff.
Who's looking, right? Like, so we have one guy sold 1,000 heifers in 3 days. So, it just really depends on who's on there, who's looking, who needs what they need. Yeah.
So how soon should that guy post that ad? So should you say, hey, look, I've got 75 head that are ready to go, call it, let's say today's July 22nd, 21st, something like that. And call it, October 1st, they're gone.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you put that ad out now?
Absolutely. And because here's the thing, so we had a guy, sometimes we get buyers that reach out to us just privately, right? So I sit at my desk all day. We're doing Herd Yard stuff all day long. We don't take commissions. So the other day I got a guy DM me on Facebook, said, hey, I'm looking for a Wagyu bull, like seed stock, high-end bull. And I was like, okay. So I did a little research on this guy, found out he's actually legitimate. I called several of our producers, and I said, hey, I got a guy looking for a bull. Hey, one of our producers called me and said, hey, I just contacted that guy you sent over, and he's going to buy one of my bulls. So, or he's talking with him about buying his bull. So that's actually happening today. So there's a lot of, I say, get it, some people say, well, I'm definitely going to the sale barn. And I said, okay, great. What are you going to get at the sale barn? Give me a number. And they give me a number. And I said, okay, list it a little bit higher than that, or list it at what you're going to pay those commissions at, or whatever. And if you don't sell them and you have to do it, bring them to the sale barn. But if you sell them, you're going to make way more per head if you sell them private treaty, and someone will just come to your farm and pick them up. So I think that's going to be the other thing we are going to do. I think this could change the game a little bit. We were talking to Joe Pettit, great guy. He runs a really good auction for Wagyu, and he told me, I'm pretty sure it was Joe, but he goes, it's funny. People would rather bid higher for something against other producers than just go directly to our website and buy it for like $300 less. He was talking about straws and embryos, and he's like, it's weird. He's like, the competitive nature in the industry is really strong. Like they love competing against each other. It's part of the game. So we were like, okay. So what we're gonna open up in the next few weeks, hopefully, is you're gonna have the ability to bid, right? Or now, very similar to eBay.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe someone's going to bid higher than me, and this is exactly what I want. Then you can hit a buy now, and it might be a little bit higher.
Yep.
Or you can just start bidding, and you might get a little bit lower, but it's really up to you as a buyer.
Sure. So yeah, you're in control.
So I think one of the important things for us too is that price discovery. We don't want to get rid of price discovery. We think it's really critical for the industry as a whole. And I think that's one way Herd Yard is going to facilitate that. And then we'll feed that data back to all our producers as well, so they can know like what's selling where, and so they kind of know where to put their cattle. Yeah,
that's going to be super helpful. Man, I know we're up against some time, 30 minutes. I know you got a lot going on, but I've enjoyed this conversation. I love the idea around the technology, the platform. How does somebody get in touch with you or the platform? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Absolutely. Our phone number's on our website. You can also just go to herdyard.com. You can sign up there. And once you're in the platform, we'll see you come in. We'll probably give you a call once you do that and help you get set up. It's super easy to get your profile set up, but if you need help, we're graphic designers and we do a lot of other stuff too. So we can get you up and rolling within 5 minutes, and then you can start listing to our national map. It's pretty good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate the time. I'm excited to follow you guys and see where you take this business and kind of disrupt the cattle marketing space. It's pretty awesome. So if you got any questions, I'll put all of the information in the comments as well below. If you love the content, don't forget, hit the like, the subscribe, the share, all that good stuff. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Gary. See you soon.
See you.